Welcome to the In Season Podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. Things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and medications are hard to pronounce, so please bear with me. Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready. Does drinking coffee or chocolate, caffeine intake, really worsen your epilepsy? Anybody here with epilepsy who cannot live without coffee? I'll read the first comment. It says, "It's not going to stop me." Thoughts?
I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts, and I would drink like huge cups of immense amounts of like shots of whatever the fuck in it, with a lot of caramel syrup, and managed to not have any seizures at work. So I think it just depends on the epilepsy. Now I find that it makes me a little more like, it does make me more kind of jerky if it comes to my myoclonic jerks, but other than that, in terms of like grand mal seizures, it doesn't really trigger that for me personally.
I drink decaf and I don't think it has any effect.
Yeah, I worked at Krispy Kreme, and I made chocolate smoothies all the time, 2 and 3 times a day. So chocolate doesn't bother me. Coffee doesn't bother me either, because my favorite thing is caramel frap. But you also put chocolate in there around the cup too. They put the caramel and the chocolate around the cup before they put the drink in.
Oh, what?
It's amazing.
The caramel frappe from McDonald's is really good too, and the mocha one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You've tried those?
Okay. It's a good thing I don't drive, because with your description, I'd be running out to get that.
Hey, they got Instacart.
Exactly. I was going to say these DoorDash orders are so quick to get those dessert drinks. That's what I call them now, dessert drinks, because I think one of my triggers, or something that definitely lowers my threshold, happened to be green tea, and I just went with blaming the caffeine in the green tea as something that I would have drank a gallon a day, but I was having a lot of seizures, and that's one of the things that I started with eliminating from the diet, and had less seizures after that. So I just assumed
would agree with you though that they're definitely dessert drinks, because when I think of a dessert, I think of a drink. I like to think of like a yummy beverage that's like, because it's high in sugar, it's a frappuccino with a bunch of sugar in it. It's basically a whatever, I don't know. Hello, James.
Yeah, now those what do they call them, boba juices or something?
Hey, James. How you doing?
What's up? What's up, Pookie? Doing all right. I had a crazy ass day at work. Even like I said, I'm only there for an hour, but with little kids, you get some crazy situations. I had a very interesting situation with one of the autistic children there today.
You seem super high, man. I don't know if that's true. You just seem super high.
I did take a couple of my usual puffs just from my pen, but my interesting situation had to deal with me running about a full sprint for about a half a mile after this kid. And I know I ride my bike a lot, but that's just moving your knees on an electric bike. That's not full on running full speed, which I probably ran further today than I have combined in the last decade together. So
a full sprint for half mile?
Yeah. So, all right. Since we got so far into the story already, I might as well explain it. It's hard to, I guess, kind of. It's kind of hard to explain, I guess, unless you know exactly how the school campus is set up. But
I'm
we have the
thinking
school.
when I think about it, I think about how like a cheetah say they can sprint for like 5 seconds at their top just to catch what they're going to catch, but then they're running like 30 miles per hour. So I'm just imagining
Yeah,
you
well, I mean,
sprint for
obviously,
half a mile.
I'm not that fast, but yeah, no, it it literally was, and I'm basing that off of like you know being semi close. Obviously, the A's hat, the A's shirt. I'm an A's fan. I go to baseball games all the time, so I know like distance from like home plate to like center field, right? You know, like I can judge distance pretty, you know, pretty decently. So it's hard to explain. So how the school is set up is there is, you know, the actual school, the classrooms, then the lunch area. Um, then there's it's half, I don't know how to explain it. It's half like it's a public park when it's not school hours. But during school hours, obviously it's just for the kids. So like I said, we got yeah, the tables, then the blacktop where there's a bunch of basketball courts, then the playgrounds, then this huge grass field out back where the kids play, you know, soccer, kickball, whatever. So there's that. There's tennis courts set up. There's like a full baseball field. So it's a pretty,
So
you know,
because of
it's a
all the space and stuff, you have to move around a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
generally, unless it's
So yeah. Yeah, I was just asking, you know, if you know how you were feeling, but wanted to make sure that you were okay.
so anyway, the we all have walkie talkies on us as the yard duties. So the his you know the I don't know what the proper term is, his you know special ed um helper. He has a like one specific person for him that you know helps him through the day because he's you know higher on the autism spectrum. But anyway, she starts paging and says, you know, I need help, and we're like, where's your location at? And she's like, I don't know, I don't have a location. Like I'm trying to chase him down. I don't really have one spot. So me being concerned about it, and I just kind of out there, so I'm looking around and I finally see him way down the season off like campus, like as past where as far as we let the kids go. And I already knew his issues, and this person is not in the best shape. They're not gonna catch up to an autistic, you know, 8-year old with their superhuman strength at the moment, right? So I take off fully sprinting, running down there, finally catch up to them, finally catch up to the kid, and I'm like, hey buddy, you know, I see you on the playground all the time. What's going on? Let's talk about this, blah blah blah. I kind of got it to calm down for a few minutes. Luckily, it was long enough that the principal was able to
Sorry, did did you say?
jump in her car and drive down the street and get over there and take care of the situation. And then they were basically like, okay, yeah, just you know, go back over to campus, go back where you need to be. And I was kind of like, really, like you're not gonna let me like finish talking to him, like not anything. Like this is gonna bother me if I don't know how this like ends up. But luckily, I found out today he was okay. His parents were notified, obviously, about everything. He was safe. It got to the end of the you know the end of the day, and everything was good. It was just a crazy situation, and I usually end up getting stuck with not stuck. That's the wrong word because that makes it sound bad. But I usually end up getting put in the situation of you know dealing with the autistic or the like mentally challenged uh kids that we have there. I don't know if everybody
So,
thinks just
uh,
automatically to give it to me because I have epilepsy or what it is, but I'm perfectly fine with doing it. It was just a very like an extremely stressful moment. Like I I I was thinking like shit, this kid's gonna run into the middle of the street and get hit by a car and I'm gonna be like the one that's like right here seeing this. I'm trying my ass off to do what I can to make sure this doesn't happen. And yeah, it messed with my head for the day, as you can tell. So thank you guys for listening. You guys
Yeah.
always do, and you're always the
And
best. So
so, James, I will, like, I understand, your day and everything, that it's very stressful. Um, I do just want to make a comment on your wording. Should you use that wording in the future, it it may come across odd to other people. So you were saying sort of dealing with, and I think the better phrasing that you could use, should you have to say it in the future, is I end up working with the students who have IDDs, which is the short term for intellectual or developmental disorders, which basically encompasses all aspects of uh, someone with any sort of neurological or developmental um, disorder. So it's like, basically phrase it like, I end up working with the children who have IDDs, and it does come across a little bit more like a little nicer to
yeah, no. I fully agree with you, and that's normally how I would address it. Like if it were my actual job, like, okay, you need to spend time with, child
right, because
A today.
you're not actually
But
a teacher. I forgot about that. Sorry. I
but that
forgot
yeah,
you're
that's
not a
not my
teacher.
specific job. And like I said, I was literally like thrown into that position. Like I, I just
And yeah, and
happened to
since you're
be
not a
the first
teacher,
kid,
and you're
sprinting
not,
off campus. That's why I said dealing with. So
yeah, exactly. And since you're not a teacher,
yeah, I'm not a
this is
para
purely
or anything like that. So
this
I
yeah, this is purely me just like throwing it out there as an educator. That's all. Okay.
Um,
yeah, no, I fully agree with you, and I thank you for bringing that up, because now, like, it'll definitely be something that sticks in my mind no matter what the situation is. I will use that more I guess proper uh politically correct uh wording for that, because yeah, I didn't mean to come off as offensive, but it was just, like I said, it was a frustrating day, and it was literally something I was just thrown into that was definitely not something I signed on the dotted line for my job when I
I mean,
when I started this.
if it makes you feel any better, they still say like higher and lower functioning for people on the spectrum. Like when they refer to me, they refer to me as like kind of like mid mid level functioning. Um
Yeah,
and
that's like the
yeah,
terms we're supposed to
and I
use for
and I
the
think
kids
that
at school as well.
yeah, and as someone with autism, like I understand why they're saying it like that, and I understand why they're saying it, but it does kind of hit in a way where you're like, damn, like okay, like I'm not like low functioning though. I just like need a little extra help here, god damn it. But there are some people that need like, sitters and whatnot, and that's usually what they mean by like low functioning and stuff like that. And I feel like
Hmm.
we're still in an area of society where we're finding those correct words. Because they're still making tweaks and stuff to the DSM-5. Like they've taken out Asperger's syndrome, um, and things like that, and expanded on the autism spectrum, um, with things like that. So there's still a lot to be worked on there. So
Oh, yeah,
I don't
definitely.
blame you in having a lot of people struggle with wording people with disabilities correctly, especially mentally. Um, like when people say mentally challenged, some people are genuinely mentally challenged. Um, And I think it really just depends who you're saying it to, how it comes across. There
And-
are some words
And
though.
that's why I brought up the IDD
Mhm.
phrasing, because it encompasses everything without making anybody feel like they are. I know you said mentally challenged, but it's like
Yeah, you don't want to say
nobody's
anything.
challenged or
Yeah.
incompetent. It is an intellectual or developmental disorder, and it just sort of encompasses all of it. That was why I brought up IDD as the actual now like terminology that's used by professionals in the field.
One of the situations thing I heard was you said mentally challenged. I don't think you should do that in public, not the air quotes. Just say mentally challenged, because that can be taken really bad in public. I don't want you to get hurt or anything. Someone's child is mentally challenged, and you do that, and yeah, just looking out for you. It's not a good
I
thing
know.
to do.
I know. Yeah. It's hard because, especially, yeah, with where, even though I've only been there for, I think it's my fourth school year there, but technically, sorry, doing the air quotes again, but technically, we're we're not, really supposed to mention specific things like that about kids. Like if I were to bring this up like as if you were a coworker of mine, I would have to I wouldn't be able to mention the name or like a specific detail. Like you have to be super
That's why
walking on
that
eggshells, when we're mentioning it at work. So that's why, yeah, I've just kind of used terms like I said, like mentally
that's
challenged. Now
why
that this
IDD.
includes like
Nope,
everything.
James. This is
Yeah.
why
Go ahead.
IDD is the correct terminology, because it's in sorry, intellectual or developmental. So it encompasses both
Okay.
any sort of mental um, problem that may arise, or any mental disability, but it also includes any physical disability. So just say IDD, and if someone questions it, just say intellectual or developmental disorder. It covers everything. Okay, you don't need to clarify like one or the other. Just say that, and it covers everything. Okay.
Okay. Genuinely, like a genuine thank you for that, because yeah, like I said, like I'm not supposed to say any like one specific thing, because then you might identify which child it is, so you have to be very like broad and general with it. So knowing that that's the more correct term, I'm glad I hadn't heard that before. I genuinely thank you for letting me know that.
It is new. I understand that you might not know it. I have more connections in that realm, so I'm like sort of on par with sort of the terminology. But if you need to phrase it, just say IDD. If anyone questions it, just say that means intellectual or developmental disorder. So it encompasses every aspect of any physical or mental disorder. That's it. Okay. Just like how we want people to know about epilepsy, we should let people know about autism and any sort of developmental disorder, in general.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for all of that information. I genuinely appreciate it. It's
We're here to help. We understand. I think you're frozen, but
let's move on to something else if I'm hogging up the chat here, guys. So
yeah, the way you came in, and you were kind of, I thought maybe you like chased a kid, ran through the sandbox, jumped a fence, and climbed the monkey bars. You looked like you had an interesting story, but Yeah.
That's why I asked. I was like, "Are you okay? What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah. You look like you've been through a lot. Like you had to chase down a car or something, like I said, hop through a fence, run
That,
through a
like I
sandbox
said,
as
man,
a
that's
kid.
the furthest I've ran, like probably in the last like 10 years combined. It's also a little on the warmer side today.
Yes, it is. It's awkward.
Oh yeah, you guys are like basically up
I
the block
wasn't
from each
gonna
other.
Yeah.
eat any eater.
Okay. Um,
With my going on, so I wasn't gonna eat or drink anything for breakfast this morning, so I was already like kind of low on energy. Just like a bunch of
Was that
you guys
Jeff
are
left?
always and listen to me, so thank you. And probably because I was being too boring, but let's move on. I feel like I'm hogging up too much of.
there's not enough time to sleep. I feel like I need 10 hours of sleep a night to function properly. To anyone else without epilepsy, I'm sure 8 hours sounds like a great night's rest. Are my seizures are very much caused by sleep deprivation, working 8:30 to 5:30 with a 30-minute commute from work leaves me minimal time to have a life. It's quite frustrating. I'm not sure how you guys manage. I'm tired, but I do want a life too. Basically, how do you guys manage? How do you guys? I need 10 hours. How do you guys get by with? I've heard Kate say 5 hours. Oh, it's impossible for
The
me.
clobazam. No more clobazam. And now I'm taking 250, I don't know, whatever half of that is, on the Keppra. So I
Oh,
blame
yeah.
it on the meds. I mean, when we
The
started
Keppra
the chat,
wildly awake. Like I don't know what
I don't mind.
I don't know what it was about the Capra, but with the Breviact, it makes me a lot more tired. Whereas with the Capra, it definitely had that up spike versus.
Did they give you the extended release for React? That made a difference for me too.
It
The
might
extended release wasn't as much of a downer.
it might not be because this
Oh,
one
okay.
makes me a little tired. I know that my cogentin methylamphenidate is extended release, but that only works throughout like a couple hours in the day. And then I get tired again. Like yesterday I fell asleep at like 6 p.m. and then I woke up at 3 a.m. And took my night meds because I thought it was 10. During that time, I also switched my TV to have a clock on it now, so that I know what time it is, so that I'm not taking. I don't know what happened to my sleep schedule.
Um,
I hate when people say I wish I could have 10 hours of sleep or something like that. Like I wish I could
Well,
sleep.
that thing that Rick said before when we were talking about, we were just joking around about coming back from a seizure with new skills. And Rick made a joke in the chat about, well, I have this new skill of being able to sleep for
Yeah.
over 12 hours a day or something.
Yeah, and
So that's definitely
people
something that
like,
changes
oh
with
my
these meds.
gosh, like, I wish I could do that. And you're like, no, like you don't actually understand, like I don't want to be sleeping right now. Like I didn't mean to fall asleep with my food in my lap last night. I passed out. I literally just passed out and fell asleep. I don't know what happened. It's like all the medicine wore off and then I wore off and I ate and fell asleep. And those are two things that are gonna send me to bed is food. And my meds were off.
Yeah, going to bed on a full tummy is definitely easier for a lot of people.
Yep, and it's really bad for you too. But thankfully I fell asleep sitting up. What a win.
There you go. Less chance of heartburn.
Anybody else on the amount of sleep you need? How do you guys do it on less than 10 hours? I need 8 at the minimum of 8. Brandon says he needs 5 and then he can get up and go about the day. I don't understand how you get up at 5 a.m.
Brendan works
So,
with
so honestly, since I got fired, I've been getting like 7 hours. Yeah, I know. It's like my body is going, wait, you don't need to rely on such little amount of sleep anymore. Let's take advantage of it. So I can do 5. My body doesn't want 5, but I can do 5.
Okay.
Yeah, my body's off. I got either like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, or it's like 10. Like there's no in between for me. Like if I wake up in the middle of the night and I have to, like use the bathroom or something like that, I just look at my phone, I see what time it is, and I'm basically just like, F this. I know I'm not going to be able to fall back asleep. It's 4:30 in the morning. I ain't got shit to do for like another 9 hours. This is gonna suck. Like like I try and try and smoke or something to help me doze off, and it doesn't work. It's like once I'm up, I'm up, and that's it.
am proud to say that I recently got my mom to start liking nighttime weed gummies. Although it is a sativa strain, it still knocks her out. She takes half of it, half the chocolate, so it's about something milligrams, but it's half the milligrams, and it's a really small amount. It's like a microdose, but she dozes off. She is
Does
out.
anybody have experience with these lion's mane mushroom gummies? They're supposed to be really good apparently for memory.
I've heard about them. You can buy them at the smoke shop, can't you?
I have no idea.
Can't go in the smoke shop yet.
You
They
can't?
still want 500. They still want 500 for the medical exam and registration.
No, I
It
mean
would
like,
be my first
like
one.
like a regular
Oh,
smoke shop.
damn.
She means like a
Oh.
regular corner
Oh
smoke
yeah,
shop.
yeah. You're talking about one that's not
Yeah,
THC.
sometimes they sell like mushroom stuff here
Yeah, here too.
in the counter at the smoke shop. They sell like literal like mushroom shit.
Yeah, they got the
Look
psilocybin
into it.
chocolate bars.
It's like not real psilocybin, but it's not like it'll still like kind of do some. There's also
Does the job.
there's this thing called
Really?
that's going through a there's these people claiming that they got addicted to it, and the company's going through this whole thing with the feel free, and I've tried one of their drinks before. It's absolutely disgusting, and I didn't feel free at all. So I don't know what everyone's complaining about.
You just have to feel free. You don't have to be free.
I didn't feel free, and their item didn't make me feel free. It tasted disgusting, and my mouth felt trapped, actually. My tongue felt trapped with this awful taste of feel free in my mouth.
Yeah, I had a chocolate bar.
Brandon, but if you tasted it, you would not be laughing. You wouldn't
I'm not I am not saying it wasn't horrible. I was just laughing about the name of it and how I was able to make a joke out of it because I'm very punny.
No idea.
Laugh
Just
at my
wait.
punniness.
Just wait. I'm gonna make you drink one of the feel frees. You just wait. I'm going to dose you.
How are you gonna make me do that? That's not happening.
You have no. I have my connections. I'm Italian.
All right. Well, I look forward to it because if you can make that happen,
Thank you.
I will give you a full thumbs up. But until now, it's here.
Whatever.
They do have the chocolate bar.
I'm getting on my bike right now. I'm headed towards your place. We're gonna do this right now.
Read the comments on the people saying how much sleep they get and how do you help this guy because he doesn't understand. Someone said I try to get 10 hours of sleep. It's important and it's different for everyone. My neurologist told me that if I have a hard time getting like 9 hours to take a nap. If you're tired and sleepy, don't feel bad about it either. You're not alone. I slept 22 hours one day and I needed it.
Yup.
That's a lot. I couldn't do that consecutively.
One time I slept so much that my mom said that if I didn't get up, she was bringing me to the psych ward. And I didn't get up, and then I woke up in the psych ward 2 days later.
Damn.
Right.
Tired. I was just a
Well,
little tired.
sleeping that long consistently, I mean, that puts
Yeah,
your brain
mean-
in a different
Yeah,
state.
that's
Yeah,
a lot.
she had a valid reason, okay, because I've slept for like 2 days before consecutively and whatnot, but I was asleep for like a week and a half. And she was like, Olivia, you haven't literally eaten, drank, you haven't gotten up, you're literally not even peeing. What you're literally just my body was just sleeping. My body's so weird. It just does that. I don't think it should do that, but it did that.
Well, before you label yourself with anything weird, I mean, try to keep it consistent. If you have yourself in like a within 2 or 3 hours of the same wake up and bedtime for a week, and then you randomly pass out for like a whole day, that would be out of the ordinary.
I don't know what that was. It only happened one time. There's only one time I ever slept that long. I mean, I've slept for long periods of time, like over 2 days, but that was the longest time I ever slept. Like it was almost 2 weeks that I was asleep.
Wait,
And I just
hang on. You're saying 2 days was it was just fine?
yeah, like 2-3 days I've slept in a row, but it was like a
No,
week.
no. You slept straight through
Yeah,
2 or 3 days.
yeah.
That is
Amazing.
something worth addressing.
Yeah, the majority of 36 hours of sleep sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I was passed the fuck out. I would not get up. My mom was trying everything. She thought I died. But you know what? Actually, I didn't take anything. I hadn't smoked. I hadn't taken anything. I wasn't taking my meds. I was just sleeping. And my mom was like, if you do not get up within the next hour, I'm taking you to the hospital. And she literally had to carry me to the car. And I woke up in the mental hospital like, what the fuck happened? Where am I? And I don't know what happened because I wasn't on any drugs or anything. This is before I ever tried any like super crazy substances, so I don't know why.
But were you just taking what they prescribed you? Because that can definitely have a like
No, I wasn't
catatonic effect.
my meds. I was full freeloading.
Nobody should be asleep for like 2 days straight though, Lufa. Like that required some attention. I'm sorry, girl.
Well, they weren't really. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I was just asleep. I was alive. I was just asleep.
Well, yeah, obviously you were
When I
alive because you're here with us now.
Yeah, they had to hook me up to like IVs and stuff because I was really dehydrated and stuff. But they were confused on why like I hadn't peed or anything.
Huh.
I guess I could just hold my bladder like a bitch. But
Well,
yeah,
between dehydration and withdrawal on the medications that you hadn't been taking, that
Yeah, it makes sense that your body's like taking literally
You know what?
every ounce, like every little bit of liquid that it can to just be like, I can survive. It's fine.
Yeah. Because it was almost like while I was sleeping, it was like I was living in my dreams. It was so fun. And then I didn't want to wake up.
Oh, what's that called?
I don't know what happened. So
There's
I thought it was like a week.
tripping.
no, there's a certain term for the type of dreams where like you can actually like control yourself and like what happens. I just
Lucid.
can't remember.
Lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. Yeah.
Yes, I used to be really big into lucid dreaming. Like I used to always want to be able to I've always been able to control my dreams.
Nice.
I've always been able to do that. Sometimes
I wanted to be able to.
I've always been able to control myself. Let me put that into perspective. I
You
can't
could fly if you wanted to.
I can't control what happens in the arena around me, but I can always control myself in my dreams.
You can grow
Okay.
wings and fly.
Yeah, I mean, I can do whatever the fuck I want in my dreams. I can do whatever I want in my
That
dreams.
sounds amazing.
It's my world. Yeah, and so I did not want. Yeah, you see, well, you know what? And then it would make anyone want to sleep because it's like you're living a fucking fun ass life.
You're living the dream, literally.
I was like literally addicted to sleeping. It's the addiction runs. I'm telling you guys, the addiction runs in my veins. I can get addicted to anything.
I do want everyone to keep this in mind though. When you're dreaming, okay, you're in the
REM.
lowest, the lowest level of sleep, basically. Um, so you're not like getting a good sleep. If you're dreaming all the time, you're not getting a good sleep. Best sleep is when you're not dreaming at all. Okay.
What's crazy though is like I literally had no idea what was going on around me. Like my mom said that she was trying to wake me up for days and I had no idea. I was like she said I was talking in my sleep and like whatnot.
See,
And like
that's when a doctor needs to be talked to. Lufa, come on.
the doctor didn't give a fuck. They just put me in the psych ward. They told me to wake up. He just told me to wake up. They said, bitch, you
Okay.
gotta fuck
I'm
up.
amending mine to is when we need a competent doctor, Lufa. What the fuck?
Well, my mom was confident enough to take me to the ER. The
Well, I
doctor,
said doctor.
like,
Yeah.
the doctors were just like, yeah, we've never seen this before, so we don't know what it is. And my mom was like, okay. And then they asked, like, does she have a history of mental health issues? Because they see my self harm scars, and they're like, my mom's like, yeah, she's been sleeping for a week. They're like, okay, well, just admit her to the psych ward because she's not waking up. And I mean, technically, that would put you in the psych ward because, like, you're not doing anything, whatever. It was involuntary. Technically, I was technically a danger to myself. But I just could not wake up. I couldn't wake up. I just couldn't. I was living my life. I was having like imagine Barbie Dreamland. Like just living the time of your life. Barbie Dreamland. Whatever like dreamland you could imagine, that's what I was living. It was like I was off every shroom imaginable that made you so happy. You know? Every drug that someone talks about that makes you really happy, that was me when I was dreaming that week. My mom, I remember the one time she came in, she was like, "You gotta get up." And I was like, And then I went back to sleep. And then I woke up in the hospital. Anyways, don't sleep.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Don't
Yeah,
don't feel too
is
too
bad.
I was gonna say don't feel too bad about that. I've had, is either whether it was just my seizure medications or a mixture of that with my other, health issues. I've had days where, yeah, it's been multiple days without getting out of bed, other than to maybe just grab, a sip of water, use the bathroom real quick. But other than that, it'll be, 2, 3, 4 days at a time where basically my ass does not leave my mattress. And so yeah, you're not alone on that one for sure, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why my body does that, and I don't know why it did that one time. I don't know what was happening, but some psychological warfare was probably going on in my mind at that time, and I decided sleeping was the best option. Probably that's
All right. Well, at least you have note of when it happened, any possible circumstances surrounding it. So if it happens again or repeatedly, then maybe it'll demand more of your attention. Raven's here. Welcome. Missed you. How's it going?
Hey, Raven.
Hi.
You doing today?
Yeah, how you feeling?
Not great. I think I'm on the recovery side of a few days cluster, so I
Aw,
feel hungover.
I'm sorry.
You don't think you need
So
some rest?
what happened behind those rescue meds? Which one ended up actually stopping the cluster?
Nothing. So I called this all started at like 5:30 a.m. Yesterday was when it culminated, I mean, at 5:30 a.m. So I by 6:30 called the after hours line for the neurologist cuz I had an aura for like off and on for like an hour, and then they called me back an hour later and said, since your neurologist's office is opening in 30 minutes anyway, let's have her weigh in on this because everybody's different and she knows you best. So the on-call provider said, I'm going to message the I'm going to message your doctor and they'll get back to themselves later on if that's okay. And I said, sure. And then nobody ever called me back. So at some point yesterday afternoon, I was like, screw it. And I just took the Ativan anyway, but it was probably too late. I started getting really chronic migraine, and then in the middle of the night, I woke up with, like last night, I woke up with such a bad migraine. I was like, well, this is going to turn into a cyclic vomiting episode. So I started all the meds, and that's when Angel saved me because I just needed somebody to chat with and distract me until the Ativan started doing its job. And then I slept all day, and now I'm hungover, and here we are.
Hangovers are fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an
I feel
honor
like,
that you wanted to spend it here with us.
oh, well, you guys are the highlights of my week, so figured it
That's
would
heartwarming.
cheer me up to be here instead of just staring at my phone by myself.
Sounds like more fun.
And you can even be
Yeah,
staring at your phone and just have us up, you know, for hanging out. That's all. It's like hanging out
there
with
you
your friends.
go. I'll do both. Why not?
Hell yeah.
I got something here. I'm just gonna go through a few more of these comments before Raven got here. We were on the how much do you need of sleep. Got a few of these, then we can change the topic. One says, I'm in the same boat with the sleep depression and found that what works best is take meds immediately before going to bed, even if the time is inconsistent, and then take them at the same time every morning, even if I'm waking up to an alarm, taking them, then going back to sleep for a while. I've been able to operate safely seizure free for the past 10ish years now with this regimen. And while some doctors have been like, in quote, you should really do it every 12 hours. That's just not realistic. It doesn't provide maximum protection for my seizures during the most dangerous time periods. And that's the most important thing. Also, I tend to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, 7.5 on average. It's not taking his pills on time, and it's got 10 years, 10-ish years. Another one says, I sleep 13 hours a day. It's a good sleep. Another one says, honestly, I feel like I need 12 to 14 hours to even be able to function.
That's a lot.
Well, last one says, only if the earth rotated a bit slower. That'd be amazing. Rotate like smallest bit, give me 6 more hours of sleep.
Come on,
I
we all
hate-
think the moon causes like bad things for us already.
I hate to like harp on because I mean, all right, a lot of us with epilepsy sleep a lot and we need our sleep. I understand that. My girlfriend does not have epilepsy and she will straight up sleep for like 12 to 13 hours. Okay. Well, I'm up after like 7 hours at most. I rarely get 8 hours. Like 6 to 7 for me is like I'm good on a weekend. So I think the sleeping thing is a totally separate issue than the epilepsy thing sometimes. Not all the times, but sometimes. I do understand that a lot of us need our sleep and will sleep a lot, and it depends on the meds that we're on, but like it can just be a personal thing.
Yeah, I can. Um, before I switch to the thing about the sleeping thing, Lufa, you threw me off with the sleeping 3 days. I forgot to jump in there when you were like sleeping that long, like consecutively. Were you
Acting like
waking
it
up to
was
take your
normal.
pills?
You were acting like it was normal.
Because I
Were
thought
you taking your pills?
I thought people have done that before.
Well, actually, if you're sleeping consecutively, you're not taking your pills. How
No.
do you get through that time without taking your pills?
Well, I just used to like do that shit all the time. It was like normal. I thought like, like in my mind, like, the best part of the day is sleeping. The best part of living is sleeping. Has always kind of been my mindset, which is a little depressing. But, you know, I thought it was normal. I thought sleeping was normal because I was also told that my great grandma Ruth, who had like really bad migraines back in the day, she would sleep for days on end. And I was like, well, you know what? It's like basically the same thing. I'm just having a good dream. And I just feel like sleeping.
So those times where you slept for a week at a time and stuff like that,
There was
just no
one
pills, no water.
Yes, that was one time, and that's when my mom brought me to the hospital. The other
Do you
times where I've
think-
slept for like 2 to 3 days, sometimes I'll wake up for a drink of water. Sometimes I sleep right through. Sometimes, whatever. I haven't done that in a while. It's probably been about like a month or two since I've slept like that.
Did you happen to have any seizures in your
Brandon
sleep during that
looks
time?
like I thought people could like do this all the time.
We are not moths going into a cocoon. We do
I
not
fucking
sleep for days on end. Okay. When
I-
you said a week, that my immediate thought was, Lufa, you were not sleeping. You were in a coma.
I might have been in a coma.
Yes, you were in
week?
no. This is not a question. You were not asleep. You were in a coma.
How did I get into a coma?
I don't know. That's something you need to ask your doctor. I'm not a fucking doctor, but if you sleep for a week straight without getting up once and not needing to
Well,
go to the bathroom or drink water, you were in a fucking coma.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Were you in a
I
coma?
would know more about it than I would because she was the one trying to wake me up and I wouldn't wake up. And then that's when she carried me to the car. So she would be the one to ask. I'll ask her about it.
Coma.
Yeah, because you don't even remember getting there. You woke up already there.
I never thought about that. I never thought about being in a coma. I don't know why I was
Do you
in
know
a
if the transport was, did she drive you? Or
Yeah.
was there EMTs on the transport? Oh, okay. So-
She got me down to the car somehow. I wasn't
Well,
awake.
And you probably weighed
Nobody was
twice as
monitoring
much
your
as
oxygen
what
levels
you
on the way, right?
actually weigh because you were dead weight at that point because you were in a fucking.
I have no idea. I just know that somehow she got me in the car. I don't remember getting into her car. She had to pull me up to the front of the ER section so that they could get me out of the car because she couldn't drag me into the hospital because I wouldn't wake up. And then 2 days later, I woke up and I was in the hospital. And I was like, what the fuck am I in the hospital for?
After you'd been hooked up to an IV for 2 days?
Yeah, I was hooked up to an IV and I was
Exactly. Because your body needed fluids.
I don't know what I genuinely don't. I thought I was just asleep for like a week. That's genuinely what I told people is like I just slept for a week one time.
I know I'm coming off like a total asshole right here, being like, this is what it is. But
No, it's not. I just genuinely didn't realize it was. I probably
Okay.
did slip into a coma because this is also prior to me knowing that I had epilepsy as well. So I could have also had. I probably
a mix of things.
possibly
Could have been a mix of things.
I could have potentially had a really bad seizure and slipped into a coma or something. I don't know because I was in my bed and I slept for however long I slept for and I wouldn't wake up. And I just remember Because you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense now because you hear a lot of stories about people in comas where they think they're living like this real life. And when I was sleeping, I thought I was in this whole real life. I was like, oh, this shit is awesome. Like, where am I? Where did I just come to?
This is literally the first time you've ever thought that that might have been a coma.
Yes.
Come on. All right. I'm not going to give you shit. I'm not going to give you shit. I'm just going to say,
Because all
come
the
on.
Brandon, when you're being gaslit by the doctors that you're fucking insane all the time, you just start to believe them. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm just insane and I was depressed and slept for a week. Sure. Whatever you guys say, I'll follow. Whatever, you guys went to school, right? I don't know. There was brain activity.
All right.
I was
I'll
awake.
give you that. I'll give you that. You're good. You're good.
I never thought about it being a coma because they told me that I just was crazy. But that makes a lot more sense now that it would be a coma. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Like, you might have had a seizure in your sleep and not know, and then just
That's
went
probably,
into a coma.
there's a lot of times where there's been unexplained things like that have happened. And my mom and I are just kind of like, what the fuck? And then we go to the doctor and they're like, she's mentally ill. And then we're like, okay. So, told me it was.
I'm curious to know if that might be connected with, and I'm sorry to say it, Lofoot, because I know it sucks for all of us to hear it, but suit up. I'm curious to know if that might have been connected with that. In terms of if it just caused a oxygen shortage in the brain or something, because that might have led to the other ones as well. I hate that I'm getting really in on this. I apologize. I don't want you to feel stressed or anything. I'm trying.
Rick already told you that attitude is natural because we're East Coasters, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the East Coast. Oh, I'm from the East Coast, and I also have autism. So everything that you're saying doesn't come off as assholey. Okay. It comes off as person to person.
When it comes to so you said you had a week-long one, right? But you said you also had 2 or 3 days, right? Long ones.
Yeah, that's been normal throughout my life where I've just when I started getting into more of my teens, I wouldn't go to school because I'd sleep all day.
And not wake up at all.
Mm-hmm. They'd be like, "What are you doing all day?" And I'd be like, "I'm sleeping." And they're like, "No, well, what are you actually doing?" Because they thought I was fucking around and stuff, and I was like, "I'm sleeping."
No. I'm asking, were you actually asleep for 48 hours straight?
Yeah, I have been asleep 48 hours.
Just clarifying.
My
because
mom that.
You say you thought that was normal. That's really not normal for any of us, and I don't think that anybody on the stream right now will. No, I'm sorry, girl. That's not.
I mean, no, UTIs, things from not relieving yourself.
Yeah.
Any gastrointestinal issues?
I mean, that would explain. Well, the thing is when I sleep for 2 to 3 days, I don't drink and I don't go to the bathroom either. So I'm literally sleeping. I'm just sleeping. And usually it's 2 days that I'm asleep for. So I go 2 days without any water or anything. And then I wake up and then I'm good.
Your body can only survive 2 days without water. You can survive 2 weeks without food. But water,
I don't
know.
I don't know what was happening during the week that I was asleep. I have no idea because I was not. Okay. And my mom was my mom. I just remember my mom being like, I could not wake you up. You wouldn't wake up. She was like,
seizures did not play a part in this.
I had no seizures at that point. I think I was around 13 or 14 at the time because I think that during this I was either 14 or 15 because I think I had my birthday in the hospital or something. But I I was like my mom thought that I was purposefully sleeping, but I wasn't purposefully sleeping. I was just sleeping. And yeah, so she said that she kept trying to wake me up and I wouldn't wake up and she kept checking my pulse, but there was a pulse. I just wouldn't wake up and she couldn't get me to wake up and eventually at one point I did speak to her. I don't remember speaking to her really. I remember like a very short glimpse of it of her and but it was almost like a fairy tale like what you would see in a movie of someone dying or something. Unless for something not funny. And then she dragged me out to the car by my underarms. I think she dragged me out to the car by my underarms, and then yeah, she was. And mind you, this woman was like 90 pounds, bodybuilder. Though I will give her that. So she had some strength on her, but she was pulling dead weight. I will give her that, which makes sense as to why she pulled straight up to the ER entrance instead of like having me walk in.
Parking lot.
In.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they
And then
trying to keep you in a wheelchair would be difficult.
yeah, she said that they were trying to they kept patting me like Olivia, 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 and my mom was like, she hasn't woken up for a week. She's not gonna wake up. And they're
The
like,
fact that it
hard.
got to a week, though, Mom. What the? Come on.
The doctors were like, well, how did she get in the car then? My mom's like, I dragged her down the stairs. And we were living in a 3rd-story apartment.
Their first question is, how did she get in the car? Not, why has she been asleep for a week? Really?
No, it was, how did she get in the car?
There's your red flag.
How did she get in the car? My mom's like, I dragged her. I carried her down 3 flights of stairs.
Because I'm a badass bitch.
Wake her up. I probably did go into SUDEP.
Are you high risk for SUDEP?
I don't know.
I mean,
usually
at this point, I need Lufa for the sake of even if
Next
it's just
family day, your mom better be here.
Your mom better be here, and for the sake of my own personal peace of mind, can you please check and see if you were high risk for SUDEP? Sorry, I can't say words.
Oh,
can you please check that, because I think we all need to know, because we care about you. We want you to be safe, and that's okay. That's just this little family we have, and that's all.
They said that my brain is still developing, so that I shouldn't be worried. But the only thing I think about when he says that is Cameron Boyce, because his brain was still developing and he died. Cameron Boyce, he was on Hey Jesse, woo, feels like a party every day.
He was pretty young though. He wasn't even 20, right?
He was 20.
Oh, okay, that's how old he was when he died. That was the SUDEP thing, right?
Yeah, and he died of SUDEP, and his dad is very active, is a very big activist in the epilepsy.
Yeah, after the fact.
A lot of people don't know why. A lot of people thought originally it was drug overdose, but his dad came out and clarified that he had epilepsy and that he had SUDEP and that he had passed away in his sleep. So, he said that hopefully it wasn't a painful passing for him, but the dad is very obviously affected by it. But when I ask my doctor, they just keep telling me that I'm young. So, YOLO. When the doctors play YOLO with your life, you kind of have no other choice than to play YOLO with them. You're like, all right, I'll be your science project. Cool. Yep. This is super awesome, guys. Super cool. I never thought of it as a coma. That is something I should probably bring up to my doctor, because my mom thought of it.
Please do, because I'm thinking how did they not think of it first?
Yeah, because of my mental health.
Yeah, well,
I think that I was forced. They literally have thought that I forced myself to have seizures. I forced myself to sleep. I
tell
forced myself.
them
I have
that
forced myself to do everything.
That's on them
The
for
only thing I
being.
can't force myself to do is be happy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's lacking there.
tell them that
Yeah.
you've got Pookie, Brandon, and Kate and Rick as moderators on a podcast that deals with this stuff, and we all are on your side, and we will talk to this doctor and set them straight.
Well, it was weird because
sure.
You can bring a video message if you want.
the younger doctor definitely seems more in tune with like epilepsy and like making sure of it and being like flat out with me, whereas like the head doctor, the older guy, um he's a little more like,
Old
okay,
fashioned.
shut up, next. And then I'm kind of like, can you I know you're like the best of the best, but could you just be like the best of the best for me too? Because that would be like super.
That's really what it comes down to. It's like, I don't care how good you are. If you're not going to devote the time to actually care about me, it doesn't
Yep.
matter how good you are. I need the best person for me, not the best person
Yeah.
available.
Having the skills and not using them cancels it
Then
out.
what's the point? Exactly. You're just wasting your time, their time, but mainly your time because you're the one who actually needs the time.
Well, and it's like I pressed them for, not to mention like, so right now I have, and I talked to Annie about it. I have, she thinks that it's my tendons, like fraying, um, which I wouldn't be surprised because I was diagnosed with tendonitis when I was 11, in my wrist. So my,
Does that mean it's harder for them to stay attached, or you're just more likely to
yes,
pull a muscle kind of thing?
they
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
I move them, they click. Yeah. So anytime I move,
Wait, is that what happens with me then? When I go like this, my wrist cracks. Or
yeah,
like cracks.
it makes
That's
like,
that's more bone.
yeah, but
Hers sounds like it's grinding.
it makes like,
I don't
yeah,
hear anything.
like a grinding rubbery sound. It's really
Yeah.
gross.
Okay, just wait till it's posted and then you can hear it.
Wait, hang on. All right, everyone, be quiet.
The wrist is here. I don't know. I've kind of overdone it now.
God damn it! It's that performance under pressure.
I can't. No, it's this one. I can, but the thing is when I move my wrist like this, I can feel everything inside of them moving. Like I can feel all of the bones and tendons moving.
And
So
we're the ones who are here to support you, so we totally believe you and you don't have to do it on camera.
yeah. So eventually,
I can feel it.
I couldn't write in school anymore because I couldn't hold my wrist up. And that's when I had to go to the doctor and they diagnosed me with that after the x-rays and whatnot. So I think it's the same thing in my foot because there's a bruise on the top of my foot. And I don't remember doing anything to my foot really. And it's been like blowing up and my ankle has been swelling on and off just randomly. So, but they also blame that on my mental health as well. Me just being overzealous. Tony, stop being a bitch. But
Because like you and Sia, I feel like have the worst like physical, like effects to your
I have been
everything.
into thinking that it's that my effect, that everything going on with me isn't that bad because I'm young, and I continue to fight back and be like, no, I'm in a lot of pain here. Like I am not doing well here. But I asked my doctor, I was like, can I have an MRI done on my brain or like a brain scan or something to see what's going on up there because like I'm still developing And last time I got that done, I was 12, and now I'm 20. So what if we just do one for like checkup's sake, just to see what's going on in there in case, I had ACT done. There's a lot of things that have happened to my brain, literally. So, but his response was, I think you're good. Your brain's still growing and developing, so I think you're good. So I honestly, I don't know. They think I'm good. I continue to say that I think that they should do more testing, but they do not give a fuck. They give a
Well,
fuck.
Yeah, they should
appreciate
at
how
least
long
test,
they
like,
keep
the
telling
test.
you.
That's
You got to get to the right person to give a fuck, and it's really hard to get to that person that gives a fuck,
yeah.
because usually that
But
person.
looking back, you're gonna appreciate being told for so long that you're so young, because when you're in your 30s, nobody says that anymore, and it's like, what the fuck? So yeah, for a
I've been
woman, they're
dealing
not gonna
with
tell you
this.
you're young forever.
Been dealing with this for the past 10 years. Why the fuck are you still saying like, oh, your brain is still developing? No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They've always, because it's not like, and I have ADHD, so there's also been ADHD episodes, but
Which happens. Yeah.
yeah, where the sleeping comes into play and stuff like that, because you get so burnt out and whatnot. But there's definitely those times when I sleep and I don't realize like I'm sleeping. Like last night, I didn't realize I fell asleep. I just fell asleep with my food on me.
Yeah.
And I just like fell. I don't remember. There's a lot of times I don't remember falling asleep, which is why I wouldn't trust myself to drive, because I feel like I'd fall asleep behind the wheel in broad daylight too.
See, now I would just lose my mind if I fell asleep with food on me because I hate making a mess anywhere.
It's not comfortable.
But
Not fun.
I know Pokey had wanted to move on to the next question. So is it okay if we
Don't blame me.
slide it on?
Go ahead.
No, I'm not blaming you.
Rick just made the point. Check this out. Rick made the point about the brain developing until 25 is a myth.
There we go. Okay.
Well, AI does back
You're
that up,
done,
it sounds
Lufa.
like.
You're ready.
No idea. They're just, I don't know.
Well, the thing that they're still pushing is that the brain is continuously developing and adapting.
Yes,
So
it does.
different situations, sleep schedules.
And
Exactly. We are a
our
very
neural
adaptive species.
pathways, our
adaptability.
neural pathways are always like readjusting themselves, and
They have to.
yeah, like if our brain wants to work, then it will figure its ass out, so to speak.
That's like
So that's that neuroplasticity.
with like
Well, exactly, yeah, where your brain, like the neural pathways just change. When you lose them, you just shift to different ones. It's like when people have a stroke and all of a sudden, they're crazy good at something that they'd never done before. It's because their brain just.
That or they can't move anymore.
What was that?
That or they can't move anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously there are the worst case scenarios, but like damage. But there are cases of people who learned or like didn't even learn, they just how to play piano, amazingly after having, a major traumatic episode, or a major head trauma, so it's like it does show that our brains are able to figure out different pathways to make sure that we're still functioning. It just may be on the other side of your brain.
Yeah, and I think too a good example of like adaptability throughout just evolution itself is like crocodiles and stuff. Because they've just been around for a hot minute. They're little old asses. But some like fish and stuff live for like hundreds of years or whatnot. And I think that's a really interesting thing, and I'm really glad that people tag those animals and stuff, or they're technically not animals, but you know what I mean. So that they're not
They
like
are.
but I feel like everyone's an animal in a sense.
I was
Everyone's
just looking. I was
Right.
just looking at a turtle online. It's 191 years old, and I was like, "Who's been keeping this thing?
It's
Like
had
passing
to-
it down the family?"
Yeah, and it's probably had to
It-
adapt to the world changing itself, like air quality, for example, things like that, because those things within the world do change. And these animals have to adapt throughout going with those things. So you probably have to think about how they've adapted throughout going through, because they probably lived with fucking something like coal mining to something like the breathing in that type of air to this type of air. So maybe some.
well, that is also assuming that they were in the same area. Like
No, but
if-
I'm just saying that
I'm assuming that this was
adaptability
actually
reptile
I'm assuming that this was
is
actually a tortoise instead of a turtle because tortoise live longer. And
oh, I feel bad
it
when a tortoise shell breaks.
and it would have been further south, like where it was tropic. So there wouldn't have been like coal mining. You know what I mean? Just keep that in mind. It probably has been in a pretty safe environment its whole life.
In front of his mouth, it looked like it was wood.
Yeah, of course I have to come in with the fact checking asshole aspect. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, he was really old. Well, he looked it. So, um,
I just want to throw one last thing in there, real quick. Lufo, we were talking about, not eating, drinking for a few days. My worst one when I kind of had a mixture of a few seizures and then my pancreas acting up ended up kind of same thing with you. Parents forced me to, eventually like this is getting ridiculous. We got to go to the ER. But anyway, I was on my not exaggerating. I swear this is true. I was on my fifth bag of IV fluids before I had to go and use the bathroom. So like each, I don't know if any of you guys have been there and had that, each bag is a liter. So basically my body took over 4 liters of fluid in it before I had to use the restroom. Like that's how dehydrated I had been, because of that. And that was only, like, I don't know, a few days, before I got there. So I can only imagine, like, you were saying, like, almost a couple of weeks or something of not doing that. That scares me because yeah, that like I could tell by like the doctors looking at me like, you sure you don't have to go to the bathroom yet? Like we've given you this amount of fluids. Like even they were kind of like borderline questioning, like, dude, way too high dehydrated. so, so if you went that long without it, yeah, I mean, at least get up and take a sip of water or
What
something in
what
the meantime,
what was the max time that you went, James?
I I can't remember that exact amount of time.
Okay, yeah,
Usually
because if it wasn't more than a week, then Luffy's got you beat.
yeah.
No. I'm definitely saying that she definitely does. It wasn't that long. That's why I was saying at least get up, get a sip of water or something. Because for me, that was like probably around, like 3 to 4 days without having, any liquids or anything in. Doctors were quite concerned about how dehydrated I was. So I was just saying, like, yeah, if you go that long, even longer without it, like, either get to the ER just to get a couple of bags of fluid through an IV real quick, maybe take a couple of sips of water. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so anybody
I
been
was just saying
divorced
that
here?
because that's, yeah, concerning. I'm sorry, what was that?
Okay, James, you can hear us. I was saying, anybody
Yeah.
else been divorced here? Because I've got some concerns with this one coming up about epilepsy possibly being used against you. So James, you said yes?
Yeah, I've mentioned that. Yeah, I'm divorced.
Did it happen after your diagnosis?
Um, yeah. I got married before, or sorry, I had my diagnosis before I got married. I wasn't even driving at the time. When we got married, I had given my fiance my car. We sold off. My car was newer at the time, so we sold hers off. Used that as some funds for the wedding, and then I just gave her my car because there was ever going to use it again.
Might as well belong to the driver. Yeah, why
And
not?
then Rick, like Rick is still happily married. Jeff still happily married, right? Raven, I think your husband hopped on for the family and friends, but we have not heard from him since.
Right.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm happily married now, but I was also divorced a long time ago, way before my diagnosis.
Oh,
Before your
but it was
diagnosis, okay.
but it was before your diagnosis. Okay.
Way before.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was the main point, was like because of your diagnosis, sort of thing. So at least it was before, even though I'm sorry it happened. I'm sure that because you're happily married now, it was for the best, right? Yeah.
It certainly was.
There we go. I've never been married. Pookie, you ever been married?
Nope.
Yeah, no. I know Kate is happily married. No.
The fuck?
We'll move forward.
What are you talking
Uh,
about?
I don't think she's happily married.
Yeah.
I keep fuck, Kate. I'm sorry.
I'm happily in the midst of a divorce.
I keep forgetting that, and I'm
Uh,
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting that. We have a bunch
No
of
hate for any memory
we
issues.
we have a few female moderators, so between you, Lufa, or not you, Lufa, sorry, between you, Sia, and Sailor Mom, I get a little confused about like who's going
Right.
through
I'm the one that's
divorce right
worst
now.
off.
You okay? All right, but it's not because of your epilepsy, correct?
Well, that's kind of why I'm throwing that question out there because, dumbass is threatening to use that in a custody battle. And I was looking to see if anybody had ever gotten a medical opinion on whether
Oh, that was a
seizures that
you
are
question.
fairly well controlled have ever been, played a part in front of a judge.
Angel would be the best one to talk to about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Angel.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Angel would be a good one. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I don't remember who was on the chat that day, but I kind of let it know it wasn't exactly 100% the reason that like led to my divorce, but it was definitely something that always created I guess issues and an animosity between her and I. And when you're getting toward the end of a big relationship like that, you blurt out things that you don't exactly, you kind of mean but you don't fully mean. But just one thing that always sticks with me, and I said it before, is she just goes, your epilepsy, not being able to drive, it's just bullshit. You're a fucking burden to everybody in your life. And I'm just like you're you're my you're my wife. You're supposed to be like the most understanding person of this. Like, how can you say this? How can you say this to me? And so then, yeah, obviously a lot more was said back and forth, and that was very, very close toward the end of us splitting up, because I realized at that point, if she was gonna, not even just say like this is an annoyance or like it's hard to deal with this, if she was just gonna say that I'm a burden to everybody in my life, like I knew that she didn't give a fuck, and it wasn't, this wasn't the path that I was gonna lead down. And so yeah, we split a few months after that. So yeah.
Okay, but it
Wasn't
was never a
100.
custody issue. It sounds like no children with her.
No, thankfully, no.
Okay.
And neither of us really had much in the way of, money, possessions, anything like that. And it was just at
Assets.
the point,
Yeah, they
yeah,
call it assets in proceedings.
it was just at the point where we were just like, all right, we're done with each other. Let's just sign the paperwork and get the fuck out of each other's lives. So,
Yeah, that's the
so
path I
I
want to
mean,
take too.
I guess in a way,
So
you could say I got lucky on that part of it in a sense, but it still wasn't something nice to hear from, somebody you think is supposed to be there and love you, but but yeah, no really big custody or legal issues out of
all
mine.
right, so uncontested divorce was not, it was still an option.
Yeah,
That's good to
yeah.
hear. Thank you for explaining. There's a
I
post here saying that no neurologist or epileptologist wants to see me. What do I do? I was in an epilepsy center 4 days, had no seizures, and was on meds the whole time. Nothing on the EEG. Spoke to a psychologist there to figure out if PNES was the source. He said no. Other psychologists said no as well. The diagnosis? PNES. I don't get it. What my neuro says, I don't know, and I don't care. I try to get to another neuro who actually cares, but no one wants me. Everyone says I only have the same ideas as everyone before. I don't care. I don't know. Contacted 8 doctors. I have absolutely no doctor to go to at the moment, and I'm scared to call the next one. I don't know what to do. Unfortunately, this one does sound kind of familiar.
Yeah,
This
we've
one,
gotten
the comments are saying start with the primary and look for the right referral.
we've gotten a few of these. You're right, Kate. Where it really is, you just need to look around and like take that first appointment with a few doctors until you find someone who really works for you, because not every person is going to mesh with you. So you really need to find someone who not only you get along with, but isn't just being like, yeah, you're right, yeah, about everything.
Well, working at the doctor's office, they'll tell you kind of on the down low, but just away from the rest of the staff. If you're the one taking the appointments, taking the calls, making the appointments, that if somebody sounds too emotional or actually sounds worked up or like they don't have a legitimate reason for making an appointment, give them a little hurdle with the paperwork. Ask, just mention that we have to clear your insurance, we have to verify your insurance, and we'll call you back, kind of thing. And
That's
essentially, a
actually
lot of
really good.
private practices are like that.
Well, that's actually really awesome that you mentioned that, because I'm sure Pookie will like make sure it ends up in the stream, because that's good info for everybody. It's like all doctors' offices and stuff. When you're cool, calm, collected, you can, you're not freaking out, etc., or etc., not etc. Sorry.
Yeah, Ann told us that if you go in there cool, calm, and collective, you might get some attention.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Whoever posted this is concerned about because they can't even get an appointment, is what it sounds like. So if you go through that many calls and nobody will even make an appointment, then it's time to kind of reevaluate how you're doing that.
Either go in and try to physically make an appointment when you're relaxed and can do it, or figure out what the real issue is as to why you can't get an appointment. Because if it's just scheduling, it's like, okay, they would be able to at least schedule you an appointment. It would just be a little bit out. If they're not letting you do it at all, you need to sort of reassess how you're going about it, I think, personally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You gonna go through some of the comments on that one, or I can move on?
No, you can move on because the comments really are mostly saying the same thing, that if you're not satisfied with the diagnosis, then don't accept it.
Yeah. I always say get a second opinion. If you don't like the second opinion, get another one. I do the best with 3. So yeah. I got something that says dads with epilepsy, which I can see here. Me and Jeff are the only dads. Oh, and Rick. Um, so it says dads with epilepsy. We're thinking of starting a family. I had a breakthrough seizure a few months ago. Have been in the clear for 6 years. I'm stable again on higher dose of lamotrigine. Me and my wife have been thinking of having kids. This breakthrough seizure has now got me worrying that it'll have an impact and cause seizures. I want to be the best dad I can and be there to support at all times, but I'm worried if I'm driving again by the time we have kids, then I have a seizure, then I'll not be able to help as much. Or if I had a seizure alone with the baby, has anyone else been a dad with epilepsy? Did you have any seizures in early years because of tiredness? How did you make sure you were as helpful as possible when trying to stay seizure free? I'll read the first comment. Oh, it's really long. Yeah, I'll just go to some other stories. Rick and Jeff, how'd you guys do it in the beginning?
Well, my youngest was 23 when I developed epilepsy, so can't really weigh in too much on having kids. I guess really because nobody could really predict the future. Um, really talk it over with your partner, and things may slide downhill. I mean, not just with epilepsy, with anything. My wife had medical issues when my kids were young, so things could just happen. You just really have to have a strong relationship and know that since this person already has health issues, it may progressively get worse in a little bit or really soon after they have kids. Could be 5 years later, 10 years later. Just be prepared for that.
I'm not really qualified to discuss this. By the time I got epilepsy, the diagnosis at 76, my daughter was long dead. So there was nothing to do with anything like that.
I did not pay attention to my health as much until like these past 5 years, as I always tell people. So when I had kids and I did have epilepsy, I did everything I shouldn't be doing. And yeah, I stayed alone with the baby. I'd stay home alone with the baby. Wasn't really thinking about my health or taking things serious as I do now. Um, but I have dropped a baby. Um, Actually, it was more of a launch, I was told. Um, yeah, when my daughter was born, I was told that I had a seizure when I was holding her. And I guess in the motion of passing her is when I was thinking past her, but then I had the seizure. So I went like this, and luckily my stepmom was in front of me and she caught her. Then I had a seizure, tonic. It was bad, they said, but I was in the hospital, luckily. So they just took me downstairs. My pants were wet and all that stuff, the rest, the good stuff.
Hey, safe baby is what it comes down to. I think one of the concerns in that post though was that dads might be worried about the genetic factor. You guys ever thought of that, even with, not being diagnosed until your children were grown, Rick? Has that ever crossed your mind just to know, kind of add it to the family history?
No, because mine was caused by a traumatic brain injury, so really good chance it's not genetic.
Mine too. Mine
Yeah,
was brain injury. So
I
I
think I think I'm the only one who actually is uh like a subject of the inherited because nobody else's parents had epilepsy, right?
no.
No, yeah.
Not my
So,
parents, but a lot of her siblings died young. Things got undiagnosed. I mean, my mother
okay.
comes from a family of 10, and my father comes from South America and doesn't know a lot of his siblings.
Oh, okay.
So don't have much family history.
My grandmother had it, but it was from a brain injury. It wasn't anything hereditary. So my dad doesn't have it, my uncle doesn't have it, nobody else in my family has it. I
Yeah.
think
So
either just
I'm the
from
only
head
one who
injuries or just
I'm
yeah.
I'm the only one who has like direct like hereditary epilepsy where my father had it and his I believe his father had it, but he didn't. His father died when he was young, so he's not super sure, but we're pretty
Yeah,
sure that it's genetically just passed through the paternal line in my family. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So, to some of the comments. But also this guy wants to know, how do we do it? The tiredness. Oh, Rick, I think he said he'll be right back. The tiredness, I think I just did night times and I slept all day. Um, I had insomnia back then from the medication by then, so it was easier for me to be up at night and sleep during the day. So that's what I did. But not everybody can do that with their epilepsy. My medication causes insomnia, so I had no problem being up. But if your seizures are due to sleep deprivation, then I don't know. Oh no, you can
That
do
is the
it.
best part of infants sleeping 12 hours, though. I know
Yeah,
that's
and
how I
then
did it.
I don't suggest driving anymore. You have a child, as you say. Breakthrough seizures happen, as we've seen or heard quite a few times. Yeah, I say don't drive. To each his own. But to some of these comments, someone says, I have two kids. I went seizure free between them being born, and I can talk a lot. But here are the important things. You need to have caring, supporting, understanding spouse. Yes, children are a hell of a lot of work. If you have a seizure and are out for the day, will your spouse be pissed at you? Children can and will be tiring and stressful. However, we don't have evidence that triggered my seizures. We had a lot of planning and preparing to help with that stress, so it may have just helped a bunch. I have never driven my kids. I can't take them to school or to the sitter. We therefore have to set things in balance. I do more of the home projects. I put them to bed, etc. We set a balance of work that we agree on so that we don't get overwhelmed. Finally, tell your kids about it. My kids have known since they were 3 that I have epilepsy. They know what it looks like and what to do. We don't treat it like a mystery or something that they can't know. It's normal for us, so it doesn't scare them. Feel free to ask any questions. Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's one good response. Another one says, I'm not a male, but I have 2 children. I had seizures throughout my pregnancy and after that. My medication went up because the auras and hormones completely changing my brain. The stress of carrying precious cargo and having tonic-clonic seizures weren't helping. I lost my license, but it was bittersweet as it meant that I managed to get out with the kids and do things I wouldn't find much fun anymore, getting on a bus, for example. But they loved it. It was like a day trip, walking to the park with my firstborn for fresh air and enjoying it. And then with my second, we pass the park while walking. This is something I wouldn't have done if I was driving. We are discussing a third, to be honest, and I'm shitting myself. Have you discussed to your partner how it would feel with the back noise of anxiety of the what ifs? My partner knows when I'm tired and lets me sleep. If I'm feeling funky, they know to let me go somewhere where there aren't children and won't disturb me. The sleepiness nights don't affect me though. Might affect you. Though most people are different, my brain adjusted somewhat to the change in routine. Sleep when you can, listen to your body when you need a minute. That's completely fine. Honestly, if you're worried and have written this, it sounds like you'll be a fabulous dad. Sounds like you'll be a fabulous dad. I thought this was a woman.
Has anybody's neurologist or doctor ever told them what kind of epilepsy, whether it's from a TBI or just intractable, if either one is easier to control? Because I think the intractable, when they were talking to me, was the reason they were pushing me towards the RNS. is if they can't ever really tell the underlying cause of the epilepsy, then they just look for the more permanent treatments. Well,
Yeah, I
we'll
haven't.
see when Lufa comes back or somebody maybe younger.
Yeah, I haven't exactly. Yeah, I think it was Angel too that said he hasn't really got a reason. Um, but
You
I
call
got
me
one here.
old. Call me old, Kate.
I got something here, you guys. It says anyone got antidepressants to regulate Keppra side effects. It's been years since my doctor switched my prescription from Epilum to Keppra. She had to do it because Epilum had given me memory loss. My mom was crashing out the other day because of how much of a jerk I've been. I thought hard and did some research. I read a lot from this subreddit and how Epilepsy Foundation website that Keppra has behavioral changes. I did more research and found that I might get prescribed antidepressants because I'm already at 1250 at 1250 milligrams of Keppra. Let me know if you experience something similar. I'm sorry, but the smoke is going away. Yeah. I don't take Keppra. Um, I do take antidepressants. It's the same thing, I think. But mine's weren't to regulate Keppra side effects. Um, Kate, Brandon, James, you on Keppra?
Give me a sorry. Kate and I were sort of we were laughing to something on our own. In a message. Give me a little bit of a recap. I'm sorry.
So, yes, James here. Yeah, I am on Kepra. I absolutely hate it, and I do feel like it has changed. Yeah, it changed me a little bit. At the height of it, I was up to 3,000 milligrams each night. Thankfully, about 2 months ago, they dropped it down to 2,000, but then they also put me on clobazam, which has really also screwed with me and like how much I need to sleep and just some other stuff. And but yeah, I haven't taken any antidepressants, but I do feel like Keppra is not very helpful.
James, sorry. Before I start, I wanted to ask you because you said 3,000 milligrams at night, meaning
Correct.
were you only taking your pills at night?
That's what they had prescribed me. Yeah, I know
Oh,
some
so,
people take them, some in the
so
morning,
you,
some at night. But it was four 750 pills at night, and I would basically take them just before I went to bed. That way, everything would be in my system when I'm asleep, and it really wouldn't mess with
huh?
me.
Yeah, that threw me hearing that just because I know pretty much everyone else here. I think, um, unless anyone else
Well,
can.
it's a 7 hour half-life, so they usually only tell you to take them at night if you're only having nocturnal seizures.
Oh, okay. So yours are only nocturnal.
Uh, no, they aren't. They're all all times a day.
Oh, so
So
you
So
take
that
them?
is very suspicious that the neurologists were only telling you to take it at night.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah. I thought it
you
was
should
kind of
be
regular,
taking.
just because I was just going along with what my doctors were telling me. But then, yeah, the more once I had joined this group and started reading a lot more on online about other people's experiences with Kepra, I started to feel like, excuse me, I started to feel like, yeah, I was, I don't know, kind of out of the normal range of what doctors would prescribe for it.
Yeah, you should definitely talk to your doctors about that and make sure that when they said, this is your prescription, that they actually meant all at night, or if you're supposed to be taking it every 12 hours. You should check your pills, like your pill bottle
Oh no,
anyway.
it's 100% for sure supposed to be at night. It's
Yeah,
the
that's weird. Okay. Yeah.
extended release. version of it.
So that's a longer
yeah,
half-life.
yeah. So they
All right.
usually, because it was messing
Yeah,
with
sorry.
me, so they usually said, yeah, take it at night. That way, as it's mostly metabolizing and mostly in your system, you know, you're either asleep or you're just getting up for the next day. It's not gonna affect you.
I've been on sorry, I'm gonna take over now, I guess, so we can get back on the like
Go ahead.
swapping between the Kepra people. I've been on 750 milligrams twice a day for a year and a half now. Yeah, because I was seizing a lot in the mornings when I was on 500 milligrams a day. Sorry, 500 milligrams twice a day. And my neurologist realized it was because overnight my my body wasn't like holding on to the meds so much. I noticed a huge change in my attitude when I first started taking it, but because it was all behaviors that were kind of being boosted, but they were behaviors that I had already had to deal with on my own, um, both like depression wise, anger wise, like those had always been sort of problems for me. Um, when I started to take the meds, they got worse for sure, but I was able to rein it in because I was used to having to rein it in, sort of thing. And I still get the occasional swing, which sucks. But it's not as bad as when I first started taking the meds. For me, like they sort of just got into my system, and now I don't have the same sort of reactions as I used to when I first started taking the meds, you know? Because that was the question, right? It was about mood swings and stuff and therapy during.
Nothing about the question at all. That was the furthest thing from the question.
What the fuck am I responding to then? Jesus Christ.
You responded to James.
Oh my God. I'm
You
sorry.
took over and we let you have it.
Yeah,
That was
I
fun,
was
Brandon.
actually-
What was the question? What was the question? I'm sorry, guys. Fuck my
Yeah,
life.
my bad too. How did I get on Kepra? I thought Kepra was the question, right? It was about it
Uh,
was about mood swings, and then I mentioned Kepra changed me, and then
okay, let's put it like this. You
I
guys
thought
are
it
on
was about
Kepler.
Kepler
Brandon,
mood
James, and
swings.
Kate. So listen to this. You guys taking Kepler? 3 of you guys. It says anyone got antidepressants to regulate Kepra's side effects. It's been years since my doctor switched my prescription from Epilum to Kepra. She had it. She had to do that because Epilum had given me memory loss. My mom was crashing out the other day because of how much of a jerk I've been. I thought hard and had to do some research. I read a lot from this subreddit and Epilepsy Foundation website that Kepler has behavioral issues. It makes behavior issue changes. I did more research and I found that I might get prescribed antidepressants because I'm already at 1,250 milligrams of Kepler. Anyone else? It says, let me know if y'all have experienced anything similar. Is anybody else taking Kepler and something else to balance the side effects? I'm assuming.
I'm gonna let Kate be the first one to hop in on this because James and I have already spoken quite enough.
So that's a
All
yes
right,
or a no
so-
then. From you guys, a yes or no.
Have you taken a second medication to balance the side effects of the Kepra?
I'm a no.
James?
No, I am taking like I said, the clobazam, so I am taking a separate or like a second seizure medication, but it's not anything directly
Antidepressants.
having to do with the
The
Kepra.
side effects. Yeah.
So yeah, nothing yeah, to
So then
combat the
Kate-
Kepra effect or anything.
Kate, you want anything
The
to?
doctor, the neurologist is well, the neurologist was quick to prescribe it, but I never took an antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication because of the children.
Yeah.
So I was either pregnant or breastfeeding or something, and then just never wanted to take any more medicine than I actually had to control the seizures. And now with just the Keppra, like a fraction of what they prescribed me, I think we're on the right track.
And your kiddos are happy for it.
Yeah, for the most
Um,
part.
Oh, I just mean they get to have a healthy mom. That's all.
And totally
and
reached all
healthy
developmental
mom,
milestones. Yeah.
a healthy mom who's awesome, and I think we will all agree on that one. Okay, a healthy mom who is awesome, and Kate is awesome.
right.
Mhm.
Totally all the
Agreed.
time. I'm going to the comments here, you guys. The first one says, when I was diagnosed, they put me on Keppra. My anxiety went through the roof, and I definitely felt depression when I had never had it before. My doctor switched me to lamotrigine, and it quickly went away. I would talk to your doctor about switching. If it's a simple medicine switch, that's better than having to take antidepressants, in my opinion.
Yep.
And the author wrote, according to my research, this medication will most likely not be switched, at least immediately, because of the dosage. Also, what's wrong with antidepressants? And the other person responds, nothing wrong with it. I personally just wouldn't want to take another pill. I'm with that person. No more pills. The next comment says, are you new to Keppra, or are you on it for longer? For me, the rage went away after 6 to 8 weeks. And the author responded, I've been on it for about 8 years. DWI after seizure while driving. This last Friday, about 6:30, I was on my way to work and I had what I assumed was a TC while driving down the interstate. I came to in a total truck in the median of the highway. Luckily, not having had harmed anyone, the responding officers gave me a field sobriety test after getting me out of the wreck. Guess what? I can't walk in a straight line. Now I'm facing a mountain of legal difficulties, and I don't even know where to start. Do any of you guys have any experience with legal issues stemming from your seizures? I'm at a total loss right now.
Start with a lawyer that has experience and is in that area who can get you to the right doctors. Because one thing that this, the last consult with the lawyer made clear was that when it comes to traffic accidents specifically, the most important thing that they're going to be focused on is the medical care. You know, what the doctor said as soon as possible after the issue to determine who was the party at fault.
Got a comment that says you should be 100% consulting a lawyer ASAP. Only a lawyer will be able to direct you to the best possible outcome legally. Another comment says it's wild how a cop making a bad assumption can end up making you get charged for a ton of legal shit. I don't know any laws or anything, but that doesn't seem like proof of anything. You could have had a concussion for all they know, which honestly has probably the same effect as a seizure upon coming to. You should need a blood test or a breathalyzer to say if alcohol played a role.
No, I mean, any of these legal issues related to epilepsy, I think a lot of people stand to learn from. Because by the time you're hit with some kind of lawsuit or legal issue, I know every time it's happened to me, I always wish I knew more before we got into it. Learning about something after you're already involved feels like you can just do something wrong.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.